Hello, and welcome to Sarcastic Spinster, where I question the behavior of the minions of the Pussycat Goddess, aka the women's movement, because love her or hate her, we need to understand her. So, today I want to talk about the feminist double standard. As I've been trolling Alyssa Milano, she's been giving me great insight to what the minions of the Pussycat Goddess are up to. And she is pursuing the Equal Rights Amendment. And she made a statement that 80% of American women believe that we have equal protection under the Constitution. And according to her, we are so wrong about that. She does not have equal protection, and her daughter does not have equal protection. And basically, what I got out of what she was saying was that because sexual assault victims are not automatically believed without evidence, we aren't equally protected, even though men don't have that right either. So I just kind of wanted to look at the double standard that feminists call equality. And first off, I want to look at the definition of sexual assault and how it is applied to women and how it is applied to men. So there's a lot of statistics that go around about sexual assault on college campuses and what percentage of women are sexually assaulted on campus. But if you really look at, which I encourage you to do, really look at what the criteria are for qualifying as a sexual assault, it would be easy to say that about that same percentage of men are sexually assaulted on college campuses as well. One of the things is if you ever had sex while you were drunk. So I guess the opinion on that one is that if the girl is drunk, she cannot give consent. So therefore, any interaction with her of a sexual nature is assault because her consent is compromised. Well, if he's drunk, isn't his consent compromised? Isn't she taking as much advantage of him as he is of her? I mean, how many men have woken up in the morning to see what's laying next to them and think to themselves, oh my God, what have I done? So wouldn't that be the same? So if there's a guy I really like and I know he's not interested in me, but I really want him, and he gets drunk enough that he's willing to have sex with me, and I take full advantage of his weakened condition, have I now sexually assaulted him? The feminists would say no, because apparently men don't have the same rules of consent. Let's see, here's another one. If a man walks up to a woman and presses himself against her side and starts running his hand down her back or across her chest, he has sexually assaulted her. Now, if a woman does that, we call it flirting. It's totally okay for a woman to drape herself all over a man who is completely uninterested in her, to run her hands all over his body and just make all kinds of comments and statements. And we don't consider that that man or that teenage boy has been sexually assaulted. So the whole idea is supposed to be, well, yeah, but the men like it. Do they? How do you know that? If it's unwelcome, if he doesn't like the girl that's draping herself all over him, if he's actually involved in a relationship and this is going to cause problems because his girlfriend's across the room seeing this woman paw him all up, sounds like a sexual assault to me, according to the feminist standards that they use for women. And there's the whole idea that, well, a woman can't fight off a sexual assaulter, so that's why it's different, because men are bigger and stronger. Well, and that is true, and meaning on average. I'm going to say that there are some women are stronger than some men, but yes, on average, men are bigger and stronger than women are. But it is so taboo for a man to put his hands on a woman that a guy that is being sexually assaulted by a woman can't really fight back. What's he going to do? The minute he puts his hands on her, he has now assaulted her, whether sexually or otherwise. It is, and oh my God, how dare you put your hands on this woman? So if a teenage boy is at a party and a drunk teenage girl is just throwing herself at him, draping all over him, running her hands all over him, and he pushes her away, and she's so drunk she trips and falls down, who is the sympathetic person in that? All he was doing was defending himself from a sexual assault, but now he's the bad guy. Now, I am not saying that women don't get sexually assaulted. Women do get sexually assaulted, and it is a terrible, terrible thing. And we need to make sure that our women know how to handle that. And we need to make sure that our women know how to stand up for each other, how to step in and defend each other. And we need our boys to know how to defend their sisters and their cousins and their friends, and to not enable this behavior in their male friends. That you're not doing your male friend any favors by letting him get away with this crap. So that is one of the things, that the definition of sexual assault is a double standard, and it leans very heavily to giving women more rights than men have. So are there not equal rights under the Constitution? And it kind of appears that women have more than men. And it's kind of a little interesting, isn't it? So one of the other ways is if a man gets all drooly over the idea of a Scarlett Johansson in a jumpsuit, he's a pig. But women can drool all over Jason Momoa as Aquaman, and there's not a thing wrong with that. It is perfectly acceptable for women to objectify men, but it's not okay for men to objectify women, even though women often are objectifying themselves. So it's perfectly acceptable for us to drool over half-naked Jason Momoa, or quite frankly, drool over fully clad tuxedoed Jason Momoa, or, any of the other hotties roaming around. But the men can't do the same thing. They can't drool over the women on the red carpet, even though the women are wearing dresses that are cut down to their navel in the front and showing their ass crack in the back. I have never understood that one. A woman wearing something so slinky that she's showing off half of her skin and then complaining about being objectified. Well, you did it to yourself. There's no reason that you can't be wearing a gown that is less revealing and still shows you to full advantage. I'm not saying that you can't want to look your best. I'm just questioning why you have to show all of your naughty bits in order to look your best. And even then, I don't care if you're showing your naughty bits. You want to show your naughty bits, you go right ahead and do that. But then don't come along and bitch and complain that men were looking at your naughty bits. If you're putting them in the window, people are going to look. That's what the window display is for. So that's one of the things that really, really kind of aggravates me, that double standard. And I really saw that. I was on Facebook with a Game of Thrones discussion board that I really kind of enjoy. And one of the women had posted, that things in a Game of Thrones I would like to ride. And there was a picture of a dire wolf, one of a dragon. I guess one was a horse. And then one was Jaime Lannister. One was called Rogo, Jason Momoa. And I can't remember who the other one was, but it was another guy. And would a man have gotten away with that? I don't think so. But because it was a woman who posted it, it was perfectly fine. It is perfectly fine to sexually objectify men, but it's not okay to do it to women. And I do understand that we're playing a little bit of catch up, but still, it's a double standard. Might want to think about that. And lastly, is that misogyny is bad, but misandry is not only acceptable, but desirable. And for any of you that don't know, misandry is the male equivalent of misogyny. Misogyny is the hatred of women. Misandry is the hatement of men. So the feminists have gotten increasingly misandristic. And if you call them on that, oh God, do they get pissed. Oh my God. They start screaming at you about painting with a broad brush and what a hypocrite you are for calling them misandrists. And, because you're just a misogynist anyway, because you disagree with them. Because again, they are so right and so morally superior to you that your disagreement automatically proves that you are a piece of shit, hypocrite, whatever. So, but they openly now are men suck. I mean, I mentioned that in the other one in another video that one of the girls on Twitter openly admitted that is part of her platform. Men suck, white men suck more. And this wasn't in the actual tweet, but I've seen it going around on some other things. It's basically men suck, white men suck more, old white men suck the most. So we start out sexist, then we go racist sexist, and then we go ageist racist sexist. I want to join them. I mean, who doesn't want to party with an ageist racist sexist screaming hysterical? So it all comes around to, if what we're looking for is equality, we should be looking for equality. But if you're going to claim we don't have equality, what are you measuring against? And I actually did respond on Alyssa Milano's tweet, though I'm sure she won't get back to me at all. But I'm going to keep pushing this. Is if we don't have equal rights, if we don't have equal protection, please get specific about where the lack of equal protection is. Because if it's just that women are not believed without supporting evidence, nobody has the right to be believed without supporting evidence. Nobody. Men don't have that right. And if it's that men should not have the right to due process, which is that whole innocent until proven guilty thing, if they're saying that women don't have that, therefore men don't have it either, women do have the protection of due process. Women are innocent until proven guilty. So I'm not really sure where the equal protection falls. Now, I really don't understand it. So hopefully I will be able to learn more about that as things go on and figure out where exactly in the Constitution it is failing women. Because as far as I can tell, the 80% of the women that Alyssa Milano claims believes we are equally protected under the Constitution, I fall in that 80%. The 20%, I would really like to know specifically what issues they have, because again, I could be wrong. So I'm going to reserve judgment, full judgment, until I can understand what it is they're trying to communicate better. But at this point, I'm just not seeing it. So, just as a recap, the double standard of the feminists, sexual assault definitions, they have them different for women than for men. Women, it applies to women more than it applies to men. Due process, they think that women should be immune to due process while men should not. And misogyny versus misandry. Misogyny is bad, misandry is perfectly acceptable and good. And objectification. It's totally okay to objectify. Hey, totally okay to objectify a man, not okay to objectify a woman. So if we really want equality, maybe we should start applying these things equally. If you enjoyed today's video, please like, share, comment below. Something to think about.